Archers, attack! Keep firing! Let none escape! Another down! Do not relent!
Welcome to another episode of Do Not Relent. Mythic Zeros are moving to a daily lockout. Illyria and Terralion are Azeroth's J-Lo and Ben Affleck? Xalatath invades Dalaran and is crossed with Khadgar, and we have front row seats to the show August 23rd / August 26th if you didn't pay. I'm Slidewhistle.
Hello, it's your boy, Immunization. But I'm still hung up. I'm like, wait, I was like, weren't Mythic Zeros already on a daily rotation? But I was like, no, wait, they're weekly, right? Currently?
Yes.
And I'm Aaron, Fire Mage Extraordinaire and Horde Punching Bag. And boys, I want to open this up asking one simple question. What are you going to do with your free day?
You know, I'm going to actually hold on to it, I think. Oh, and for the listeners, Aaron is referencing the fact that we have just received a in Blizzard launcher gift from Blizzard for that 1 day of game time that they promised us. I can't remember if this is on time when they promised it, because they did this is like a month or so ago, and they said that was in the future.
Yeah, they did specifically give us a date. I want to say 15th sounds correct. But yeah, you get one free day that you technically don't need to use now. I guess I accepted it, so mine will be tomorrow, but you have until July 25th of next year.
You know, I'm going to be a cheeky little boy and hold on to it for an undisclosed amount of time.
Yeah, I'm going to wait until my sub runs out, and then I'll use that free day. I'll take the day off of work, and I'll kind of just walk around Azeroth and do some fun stuff, I think.
So, like, if you already have a sub and you activate it, does it just, like, shift your sub forward one day?
I would assume,
that's exactly what
just,
it does.
Just the auto-renew instead of August 15th. It's August 16th. Enjoy.
It's just so silly. I mean, like, it's nice of them to do, but I just think that it's a little silly.
Speaking of a little silly, boom, bam, crash, I'm coming in here. If you care about the newest Twitch drop, there's a green owl, but mostly the ghastly charger, I'm calling you silly. Another TCG mount falls to the Twitch drop systems. And I'm not even trying to be facetious or being like, it's not a big deal. I've never seen this thing. Like, there are some, like, TCG mounts that are exclusive and we're all supposed to think are really cool. I've never seen the skeleton horse, personally.
Not only have I seen the skeleton horse, I've held the card of the skeleton horse in my hands. The Ghastly Charger skull is indeed a part of the Dark Portal TCG set.
Ooh.
We get ever closer to the Hearthstone.
Well, you say that you held it in your hands, but I don't know that I've ever seen this, like, as a mount that you've ridden around on. So did you sell it?
Yes, if you remember your lore, I sold this bad boy for, I don't remember how much money it was.
It was like $1 million. It was like 1.2 million.
It was something like that. It actually may have only been, like, not even $1 million now that I think about it, but I guess this card sells for like $1,000. So that price is about to plummet.
I'll say it used to. Now the only thing it's going to cost is me, Aaron DNR, twitch.tv/Aaron DNR. 4 hours of your time, I believe, starting August 26th. So don't watch any of those dirty grumbos who paid and get the game early. You have to wait until the global release.
You know, I love how streamers always say, like, drops enabled, but, like, do you actually have to do anything?
No, you know me. I have maybe 50 followers and maybe 4 people that watch me ever at a time. I am technically drops enabled. I believe all you need to do is, like, link an email account to your Twitch. And then it's like, yep, you're real.
Okay, I think it was 3 milli, because I remember specifically it had to be done super shady because I wasn't able to do it all in one. Like, I had to do like lump sum chunks.
Because you can't pay that much money to someone, right?
Yeah, you have to because gold cap, and I think even back then when I sold it, gold cap was different because they have upped it since then. So it's so ugly though. It's such an ugly little guy.
Yeah, because like them all, it's from what? That would have been the Burning Crusade. So it's a real scrunkly guy, and then whatever. I know the Hearthstone, we don't want anything to happen to that because it's your special thing, but I will always go on record, who cares about these things? You've had it exclusive for over like 15 years. Ugh.
At this point, Slides even had it exclusive for how many years now?
Yeah, I've had it for a while. I don't know. It's what that was the winter went out 8 years. The heater died. Zoo Hall, Rat House. So
7 years, maybe 6 years, maybe. Again, dang, we've been in Chicago this long now already.
Can you believe that we're coming up? We are 8 years out of college. Ah!
I would like to forget that I heard that.
I'm still convinced they do these TCG Twitch releases or trading post releases based on the data showing how often it's used. I don't think anybody's pulling out the Ghastly Charger skull in 2024. I've seen quite a couple Dark Portal Hearthstone users still out there. We do the spins at each other, so we're keeping it alive, baby.
I guess because the Dark Portal is like an iconic thing. Like, you pull that out and any WoW fan's going to be like, it's the thing from the loading screen. This is just a bone horse. We have had other bone horses. This is just a one.
Yeah, but this one's like 2 polygons. Also, can we just think for a moment about how this thing will look when you try to dragon ride with it?
I don't even know if it can fly. Can it fly? That's the thing. It wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't able to, honestly.
I feel like the other ghastly horses can fly, though, right?
I really don't know because, granted, the only pictures I'm seeing of it are from Wowhead, but it distinctly does not have any wings out.
Well, we'll all find out soon. We watch Aaron's stream and get a nice free mount. We've got a lot to go through, though. We got 2 videos. One of them is a YouTube short, which I think is really bizarre that was the route they went for that release. But it seems like it's part of a larger cinematic, I think.
Yeah, I'd say, not only is it a YouTube short, I believe it is just a cropped version of an in-game cutscene that we just don't get yet. They're like, okay, obviously this is where the story's going. Here's a snippet from it.
Yeah, I guess let's just start with that then. I feel like we have less to say about this than the other one, potentially. So yes, this is Khadgar in Dalaran and Xal'atath appearing. So, first off, what room in Dalaran is this? Is this like the big mage tower?
Yes, she is in the council chambers of the Six, the Council of Six. The thing where you used to walk in and then Khadgar would give you your extra artifact weapon quests.
Yeah. And she's like at the top of the stairs, she appears, and she, says like, oh, nice to finally meet you, Khadgar. And then, okay, so at what point does he start sweating?
I think he realizes his power is not enough to stop her. And he goes, oh God, I'm sweating balls up here.
Anyways, he tries to fire his laser at Xal'atath and fails, basically, is what this cutscene is.
And then there's the very controversial statement. I actually don't remember what he says. But he does say, like, either you're going to hell or, like, you're a creature from hell. People are very mad that he is citing, like, Judeo-Christian hell in this statement. Which a lot of people, there's been a lot of back and forth. They've said it a couple times. But, like, I wonder, like things like Hellfire Citadel, Hellfire Plains, and, like, Outland. I guess, I don't know. Hell as
you're
a
right.
place doesn't...
Most of the warlock kit refers to hell and hellfire. And even just like demons, like
does hellfire as a concept exist? And then they're like, well, what does that mean? Like, it's a fire from a place? It's like, oh, we never asked.
People actually mad about this? Like, was this Twitter stuff?
Yeah, people were mad because they're like, it's breaking what little reins they have on the lore. Because it's always been like, why wouldn't he say like, oh, hell, or like, maw, damn it, or like, oh, you're going to the maw, considering the maw is their version of hell. But a lot of people are like, well, they've referenced HE double hockey sticks a number of times before, so I guess it's just a thing they say that we as the players know, like, oh, they mean serious business.
I mean, and if you think about it, like, most of the denizens of Azeroth still don't know that the maw exists. Only like the heroes do. So like Khadgar knows it exists, but like Khadgar's only known that the maw has existed for like literally 5 years now. So like, I don't know. He probably is not used to saying maw, damn it.
And I guess also he never went there. He went to Oribos, but he just looked at the big hole and he was like, "Ooh, you guys were doing things in there? That's crazy."
Maw, damn it.
What the maw?
What the arbiter?
Go to Maw.
Anyways, I believe that's really all it is he hits her with a big purple laser. She shrugs it off and she's like, "You're sweating big globules." And he goes, "Ugh," and audibly sweats. And I believe it just hits you with a splash screen. Play the game and find out.
Yeah, something's gonna happen. Khadgar's gonna soon be unable to watch his favorite show, Maw's Kitchen. Get it? Because hell.
Do you think the residents of Azeroth, when they greet each other, they go, "Malo"?
Mahalo.
Maw hollow. God.
Anyways, moving on. Then Illyria did the light and shadow, and this one's a fancy cartoon.
You know, I love this art style, and like, I know everyone's probably saying it and feeling it right now. I would love a Warcraft series or any kind of series that Blizzard feels like putting out in this art style. I eat it up every time. Like, it's just so good. Anyways, this one, starts like back, like way back when they were like high elves defending Silvermoon, right? Yeah, they're defending Silvermoon, and it's like her and Sylvanas fighting side by side, and it's like blue, like high elf ranger general Sylvanas that they showed like in that other in-game cutscene. So it's like a long time ago.
Though and I guess I don't know why she would have a different one. She talks like Sylvanas, obviously without the slight echo. And it's just always weird to me because even in her high elf form, it's like, "Alleria, you are going to leave Silvermoon." And I'm like, I don't know. I've heard a bunch of elves. I refuse to believe that's your real voice.
I guess. I mean, I think you have to believe it. I don't know what other explanation.
I mean that is what it is. It's so weird to me when I hear high elf Sylvanas and she still sounds like this.
Yeah, so like, were you under the assumption that the sultry lisp was like an undead type banshee feature?
Well, I assume this is what I sound like. "And if I died, I'd sound like this." I always assume she was doing a ghost voice. So for her to just sound like that in life is always very strange to me. Which I guess we sort of got a bit of that in Shadowlands. But she was like talking to herself. She was in her mind. She was still gray. So I was like, oh, she's just doing the gray voice.
Grays.
But basically, this entire cinematic is based around Illyria, obviously. And I think it just is basically like key points of her life and like crossroads in her life and her being like questioning those things. The first one being leaving Sylvanas behind to go fight the war. And then realizing that, like, you know, she basically left Sylvanas there alone to defend again. And then like that basically led to Sylvanas, you know, dying and becoming a banshee, right?
Yes.
Or at least, yes.
Well, kind of.
Yeah,
but...
yeah. I would say the more direct thing of that is Sylvanas was left, like, basically she was the only one protecting their family. And then when they all got killed.
Which is weird because it's like, I mean, like, I don't think Illyria would have changed the game. We just would have lost 2 Windrunners. What was Verisa doing during that?
She says as much. Well, she says as much like, "I don't know if Sylvanas' fate would have been changed had I stayed." And also, yes, in the back of my head, I was thinking, what is she doing? She was slightly too young because they're all like 3 years apart from each other. So I think at that point, What's-Her-Face was like 20. And then Sylvanas was 17. And then I think it's just Verisa's a little too young. And yet definitely baby little lion Lirith, he was far too young at that point.
Little Lirith.
Little baby lion Lirith.
It's so sick. It's such a cool animation. Like, it's just kind of just going through a lot of the history from there.
Yeah, up next, she talks about how she met her hot husband and had a baby. And then had to leave Eritor behind to go, you know, fight back against the Legion, right?
Yeah, the Alliance expedition.
Yeah, she had to go do Warcraft 2. Yeah.
So it's interesting, though, because I was watching, I mean, we all were watching it, her kill demons.
I was just having Cubby Bub describe it to me. I was in the other room, hitting them with a bow. Cool!
So Illyria was killing demons.
Which is, okay, side tangent here. Slidewhistle literally, at one point during this week, I look over to see what he's up to in WoW, And I see him literally killing demons on. Were you on Argus killing demons? Or were you literally in the place where that guy on that fateful day was like, "Hey guys, you want to kill some demons?"
Well, he wanted to kill demons in Draenor in front of Supreme Lord Kazakh, but I wasn't killing demons.
To what end, may I ask?
So I need something to do, and I was getting a toy that I'm excited to use during raid.
That's a mouse-tool we'll save for later.
And then I was like, wait a minute, they've described this before. We've never seen this. Illyria fighting demons and using the void to free them, but they did the audio narrative stories that were on Spotify and YouTube before Legion dropped, describing what happened to Illyria and Turalyon and where they went and what they were doing all this time. And that scene was literally described by the sexy voice narrator.
Yeah, we actually went back and listened to it earlier today, and it played out exactly how it did it in that cinematic, straight up to the point of the lines that Turalyon and Illyria say to each other, like when Turalyon was like, "I would have rather died than see you turn to the void or turn evil." It was exactly the same as is in this like audio history.
And it's funny because a lot of the comments on that YouTube video from 6 years ago are, "This needs to be animated. This needs to be made into a cinematic." And then they were like, "All right, bet, let's fucking do it."
Do you think they've been working on it every day since then? That's why everyone's like, "We need a full TV show based on this." They're like, "You don't know how long this has taken us."
Slowly penning away, Ian personally doing it. But so just a little bit of reminder, since it's been a while since we've been, like, I was like, when did Illyria first succumb to the void, right? Like, when did it happen? Because she succumbs there, but she's actually void touched earlier before that. She's hanging out with Lithraxian, which is very interesting because if you remember, Lithraxian is the Dreadlord the Nathrezim who became light infused.
Yeah, he was the light forged Nathrezim that was hanging around in the priest and paladin order campaigns in Legion.
So he was like very much trying to warn her about using the shadow. He was like, "Don't use the shadow. It's really bad. Everybody who uses the shadow succumbs and it corrupts their heart. And nobody has ever been able to wield it without being corrupted most of the time." And she's like, "What do you mean most of the time?" And he's like, "Well, Locust Walker saved me when he was killing demons. And he pulled me out and said, 'I see an interesting fate for you in the future.'" And I'm like, can I trust Locust Walker? Can I trust this Nathrezim? Because remember, we learned that the Nathrezim are purposely infiltrating the orders on behest of Daddy D.
Yeah, in Shadowlands, we found that one book in Revendreth that was basically just talking about how all of the Nathrezim are plants, basically, and their end goal is to infiltrate all of the different halls of order. I don't know that we got, like, actually clarification on what their end goal was, but they are infiltrators, basically, is what we learned. And I'm like, I don't know, this Lightforged Nathrezim feels like an infiltrator to me.
But I feel like that's like what we're supposed to think. So I don't know. But when she's first touched by a void thing, she's killing demons. I guess the shadow was like murdering demons by dragging them into the twisting nether. And it was an avatar of shadow appeared out of thin air, wrapping its incorporeal hand around her throat and slamming dark magic into her, trying to kill her. And that basically like put a little bit of the void inside of her, almost like when Illidan, like when the demon hunters eat a demon. And a lot of what she was doing was kind of Illidan based, like her sacrifices she kept talking about.
You know, that's what I was thinking about this entire cinematic. The way that she was talking, and even the way that she was fighting, straight up to the point at the end when she like fully decides that this is her new path, she's like wielding warglaives. I'm like, the entire thing was so Illidan coded or demon hunter coded to the point where like, yes, she was literally is like, "I have sacrificed everything. What have you given?"
So who do you guys think is going to get the animated treatment next? I'm hoping that we catch up with Gen while he's just kind of sitting at home. Today I whittled. Today I did nothing. There's nothing to do here.
If anything, it's probably going to be Tess being like, I don't want to be a Worgen anymore, Daddy. I want to be a human.
Anymore. She never was. Father, I keep thinking about that dream that Kralina and I went on. God, that sucks. How does she live her life? How do you live your life? I wish I didn't.
I wish I was dead.
Gosh, oh golly, it's such a curse to be me. Harumph. I tell the player character to use their magic toy once per week to come back here so I can tell them.
Please hang out with me.
Race change your character. Please don't be a wolf man. It's so stinky and bad.
What is Erator doing now? Because I feel like he's almost of an age like Daggerin where he can like start doing stuff again, right?
Correct me if I'm wrong. I only watched the cinematic once, so I haven't like gone back and combed through it all the way. But I believe at the end of it, they showed him when he was older, right?
Yes, and we've seen when he's older. He hung out with us in Legion, and then of course got his head crushed on the stairs every other day when you would do what's it called? When you would do Twisted Stormwind. But to answer your story, he was in a different short story 10 years ago when she showed off her cool tattoo, and I guess he got a cool tribal tattoo. He's farting around Silvermoon right now.
Yeah, I went to his WoW link, WoW whatever, and it said that, yeah, the last time we saw him was at the wedding between Thalrissa and loser Thoromar, where he chatted with Daggerin 2 under a tree.
Oh, I forgot it was him. I forgot it was the two of them because I distinctly remember like us talking about those two talking.
We remember that Daggerin had a special little Fran.
Wait, so that we're 100% gonna like he's gonna be a big player in this upcoming expansion, right? Like they're gonna be lovers, yeah.
or like a consulter. This also reminds me. So I was just thinking about, like I often do, the whispers of our friend. I always forget his name.
Ilganov.
He always turns to me too, and he's like, "Immune, what's his name?" I'm like, "Well, who?" And then like the tree. I'm like, "Who?" The tree with the whispers. And I'm like, Ilganov. It's Ilgi, baby. Come on.
We're all blessed with very niche information. I know the colors of the websites we were supposed to trust. At least I thought I used
well, that's
to.
gone now, you know?
Yeah.
Like, who knows now?
You know the name of Ilganov, the tree man, which is funny because we fought him as a big torso too, but I guess that one didn't leave an impact.
I always want to say Yggdrasil, but I'm like, that's obviously not it. I mean, it's a reference. But anyway, I was thinking about the Boy King. The Boy King serves as the master's table. The realize he will tell you. Daggerin's a Boy King, right? That's a Boy King, because he's the king of Ironforge, and I mean the heir to be of Ironforge, and the heir to be of Dark Iron people.
And I think that we mentioned him as well in the past when we were talking about who this could reference, but that was way before he was anything. Like he was still literally a 2-pixel baby, so like I don't know. He's not telling anybody shit. He's literally 2 pixels in a bad looking cradle.
So I was listening to Lore Watch, which is the podcast that used to have Anne Stickney, and as those two guys that will like argue at each other, Matt Rossi and the other one whose name I always forget. They go at it, and somebody submitted them an email and was like, "The Boy King says this is the master's table. We've seen Daggerin serve." Because remember him, Moira taught him how to serve people. And I'm like, I guess.
He's at the master's table because he's eating dinner there.
We've also seen him serve looks at the Trial of Style.
Oh, that's a side note. They fixed the voices in the pre-patch event. He has one.
Oh yeah,
and it was fine. You know, I guess
it was kind of on par with like what we thought it would be. I guess.
I don't know. Any Dragon Age fans out there, Slide, you might remember this one. Do you remember the dwarf market man? And he had a little special son who would enchant things, named Sandal, and he just went enchantment.
Enchantment?
I do remember Sandal. When you were talking at first, I was like, I don't remember this guy. The minute you said Sandal, I'm like, enchantment.
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 I thought, maybe just because he's a little boy dwarf, I thought it would be like that. So when he came at me with like, oh, I really hope my grandfather or my granddad's okay, I'm like, that's not whimsical enough. You're not Sandal.
He's too mature now. We missed the sandal age. It's really unfortunate.
Enchantments.
But we've also seen Dagran eat hot chip and lie. Remember, he lied to them.
Ooh, he do.
Well, we've also
eat
seen him
lava
be
chip.
bisexual with Erator.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we've only seen him be gay. I haven't seen any ladies turn their eye towards Dagran 2 yet.
But also, another thing, think about this. Remember we talked about his granda, that Sorcerer Thane the Rusian? Dagran's grandmother is Modgood, the one who we talked about, Xalatath killing in, I almost said Told to Gore, in Grim Batol.
Yes.
So there is actually, Xalatath and Dagran could actually have some weird, she could be like, yeah, I literally killed your grandmother. Like, what are you going to do about it, pussy?
He'd probably be like, I never knew her, obviously, because she was dead before I was born.
He knows the story of Grim Batol. He knows that it's in his blood to be evil and corrupted.
Do we think he has the fire inside himself to take Xalatath bullying him? Do we think he'll be a brave boy, or do you think he'll crumble? Like, she'd be like, nerd, loser, nice glasses, and like flick them off his nose. Do you think he'll hit her with a spell or just cry?
I feel like he'll no-sell. He'll be like, I don't care. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but spells will never hurt me.
And then he'll read her to filth, you know. He's really good at reading.
What are you doing? No shoes? Scraggly hair? What's that? What's that acne on your face? And then she's like, it's runes. It's magic runes. Keep telling yourself that, honey. Oh, hello.
You got anything else to say about Dagran? Anything else to say about J-Lo and Ben Affleck?
Also, yeah, you said they're J-Lo and Ben Affleck. Was that just referencing the fact that in the story, he's like, ugh, your dark form's so nasty.
Okay, answer me this. Are Turallion and Illyria together? Are J-Lo and Ben together?
Well, J-Lo and Ben are not together. And then Ben, and I don't think they've been together for a long time.
Yesterday,
J-Lo and Ben...
J-Lo came to the defense of Ben Affleck, saying that some of these things were rumors.
That he had a bad haircut? No, J-Lo, I saw that. He has a faux hawk right now. It's rough.
They are eternally shadow and light, two ends of the spectrum. They both have children. They both hate each other and love each other. They both can't touch each other or be in the same bed, or they'll explode.
I didn't know that about J-Lo and Ben. I feel like they should talk more about that. Also, side note, between Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, who's light and who's shadow?
Well, I feel like a J-Lo shadow, if I had to say.
Damn.
Ooh.
I just don't really like J-Lo, if I'm being honest.
Oh, okay, Sargeras.
Big Ben head over here. Ben Lover 42.
Loves Daredevil.
Honestly, I don't really know anything about him. I just know that I don't really care for J-Lo.
Like, what's that movie? Giggly?
Geely. Huge Geely head. Ah, they lampooned it in the press. Those fools, I'll make them pay. Speaking of making them pay, I'm going to pay Growlina one shiny nickel to cover us for 3 minutes. Welcome back, my friends and fans. Growl once again back on the prowl here in where else? The stinky Dalaran basement. I'm here chatting with my fellow hole plunger. Might need to workshop a better name for that. Dornanst. Dor, why do you think Azeroth decided to manifest its latent memories in these specific zones?
I don't think they gave a reason. I guess they're just the places it thought about a lot.
Well, I never try to poo-poo any idea brought about on this show, but I have to disagree. We were just in Dustwallow Marsh. Nothing has or will ever choose to happen in Dustwallow Marsh.
Maybe Azeroth is punishing you for never going there then. It made all those beautiful trees and swamp gators, and you never even cared.
Well, if the planet herself is trying to punish me, then she's certainly done a very good job. I'd run 1,000 mythic raids over and over before setting my foot back in that stinky old bog again.
I can't argue with you there.
Speaking of arguing, let's see what those smelly old boys are yapping about today. I'll see all of you at the war. Within the planet and stuff. Bye-bye! Bag alert! Major bag alert! Also, I just want to say, as we are coming back here from the break, I do want to give it up to the one and only Dafyed for being the only one, not to shame people, but the only one to heed Growlina's message at the end of the previous episode. Thank you, friend. You are an all-star.
Did you fill on the people who don't listen to the podcast?
No!
Me. What'd you have him do? What'd you have him do?
Oh, I was just like, send me the word spaghetti, and she'll give you a picture of a thumbs up. And there was but a single plate of spaghetti, but it had a lot of love in it.
Wow, some lucky bastard out there has got a thumb.
They sent it to me early on. I released the episode at like 7 or like 8, and then it was like 9. They sent me spaghetti, and I was like, hold on, I haven't even drawn the picture yet. I had to walk to the other room to draw on a little index card.
This is an immediate listener.
Speaking of drawing, we are drawing to the next topic, which is the war. It's almost without.
This shit's creeping up. I am so excited. They have some timetables released. I don't know. You basically, good luck. You know when it's coming out or you don't. There's like a million different times on this thing. They released a blue post with a bunch of stuff. Meet the Earthen. Uncover the Delves. The map is actually, you can look at the map right now and go to like the overarching calendar world map and go through Kazogar and all the other areas. It's pretty cool. You can even like look like the raid areas, or like the City of Threads.
Yeah, I really like that they put this in there already so that we can look at it. Also, there's a bug right now with a title that we noticed the other day. What was the name of that title slide?
It's like Master Machiner, Machine Master, Machine Dungeon Master, something. Yeah, we've been doing like alt raids. We've got some people coming back to the game, so we catch people up. Yeah, everybody had the title just unlocked, and I guess it's like a war within one, obviously.
Yeah, it's one that I assume you get from doing something with whatever the Forge people are. It's machine something or other, but yeah. We have it, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll put that shit on right now. I'll take a bugged title for now until they decide to roll it back.
Which I do want to congratulate everyone who's been coming back to Uno Mas. Everyone has been putting in their hard work and getting us the Guild Diplomat achievement maybe 10 times every single day for the past week and a half. I didn't know we had it in us, especially to do it 47 times, but I'm really proud of everyone's efforts.
Yeah, I'm sure anyone who's playing right now knows that there is a bug with guild achievements right now where it just randomly procs like several of them. It's kind of annoying, honestly, because it covers up a decent portion of your screen because they all proc at the same time. So if you're doing something important at that time, good luck.
Oh man, we got the last story. When did the story come out? Whisper of Warning. Illyria, Khadgar has dispatched Illyria on a dark mission.
Excuse
Much
me?
remains unsaid between Illyria and her son Erator. When did this come out?
Oh, wait, yeah, this is the one I was talking about. Like, it was the first one to come out.
Oh, what's the first one?
I've been sitting on it. I've been ready for weeks to talk about this thing. There's
What?
really not that much. Essentially, she's going to go on a big mission that is sort of the TWW business. And she goes to Silvermoon, which if lore heads will remember, she is banned from because the last time she was there, she visited their light well, and a giant void man popped out of it, and he expressly pointed at her and said,
I hitched a ride on your bad vibes.
I forgot.
Now I'm going to destroy the city.
And so everyone killed him, but they were like, Illyria, you gotta go. But she let her come in essentially just to say, like, I'm not coming back, bye. But she talked to Erator, and he had a big, sick tribal tat on his arm. And she's like, oh, fresh ink? And he goes, oh, mommy, it's so embarrassing. But he's like, it's just like yours, and points to her arm, which anyone, now that she's taken off all her gear, you can see she has a big purple, like, dragon tattoo on her arm. And it was a good moment of relating and, like, being a mother and a friend to my son, who I don't know at all.
So it was basically like all these other stories reintroducing us to important characters that will then be players in War Within.
Yes. She essentially did it's bullet points. It's like the Goblin story. 1, she can't go to Silver Moon. Remember Eretor? He'll be a thing, and then looks at you right in the eyeball. And it's like, she has a lot of regrets, so maybe she's going into this thing with a clouded mind.
Okay. That's what you meant when you said he had a tattoo earlier. I was like, what do you mean he has a tattoo?
No, I was just intimately familiar with Eretor's entire model. This C-D list character.
Speaking of C-D list characters, Morgan Day interviewed Limit. So, I mean, if you care about Race World first, maybe that's an A-B character, but I don't know.
I'm fucking mad at that one. Because they just took all of my interview questions. Morgan Day is a company run by ghouls and liars and thieves.
Morgan Day the human?
Yes, she took my everything and put it on wowheads.com. How dare.
First off, I believe.
That's fair. I was thinking of Morgan. In my head, it was Morgan Webb of X-Play.
Okay, I always think this too, by the way. Like, whenever I maybe it's just whenever I think of Morgan, I think of, yes, that Morgan. Because I would watch a lot of that when I was, like, in middle school, I guess?
I think of Morgan Le Fay.
I think of Morgana from Persona 5.
Oh my god.
The little catch man.
You said Morgana. You know what my first thought was? Grandpa Pickles' first love, Morgana. He met her at the train and left her.
Also, I was referencing that weird, like, classic interview story, which I saw someone make a joke about it today, and everyone's like, the time has passed, it's over. And I was like, that had a really quick turnaround of being discussion.
But there was an interview on Twitch earlier today, like an hour before we started recording, between Limits Max and Morgan Day, where they discussed a bunch of like War Within details, and there are some interesting things that we learned from it. Slide, it looks like you have the bullet point list pulled up, so like I guess just whatever pops out at you we can discuss. I tuned in for a bit of it, but then I lost interest because they were talking about things I didn't care about.
Oh, a lot's about to pop out of me, so you're ready. The first point is something we already a little bit talked about, is that Mythic 0 will become a daily lockout instead of weekly. It says they want to be careful of not overshadowing raid and later M+ rewards, which is why the reward track is lower. So, I mean, that's great, because I always thought it was kind of stupid that Mythic 0 was a weekly lockout when nobody was fucking doing it, when you could do 2s on a daily. I mean, I know, whenever you wanted to.
Yeah, I know, just doing it, lockout, like just on your own time is lockout.
Almost to the point to where I'm like, why does it still have a lockout? I guess because again, you could just do 2s, one thing at a time. I'm assuming it'll get peeled back maybe eventually, just because to get the old heads, kind of used to it. You got to boil the frog slowly. You can't boil it quick.
Yeah, I think it's a good change though.
They've got some other stuff going on here. They haven't announced it yet, but they are adding a catch-up system for alt character crests. Players will get a 30% discount-ish on crest costs across their warband once one character has outgrown the use of crests. That's great. In Dragonflight, if you are you greater a certain level, then those crests you could spend to buy higher level crests. So now that's just warband based.
Well, no, and because like the way it currently is, like the discounts was only on flight stones. You would still need to grind out the crests themselves. So I think this is a great change. I love this a lot, actually, because like, I don't know, grinding out like those annoying, especially the lower level crests at first, is just like not fun on an alt. So I think this is a perfect change, actually.
That's really good. Yeah, man, in my head, it was Flight Stones. I forgot. So wait a minute. So what's the new currency going to be called? Because Flight Stones just aren't going to exist anymore, right? What's going to be like Void Rocks?
I believe they are still Flight Stones.
What?
I saw TWW things referencing Flight Stones.
Maybe it's that thing where it's just like in the code they're still referring to them as Flight Stones. It's probably going to be like, I assume the stone part will stay, especially because we're underground earthen. So like war stones, yeah.
These
Thin
are our
stones.
earthen stones, our stones.
Our stones.
I really like stones.
To upgrade your gear, you're gonna have to use stones. In the dungeons, you can earn stones, and once you have 15 stones, you can smush them into a stone.
Wish those stones.
But then in season 2, if you get 10 stones, you can smush them together into one big rock stone.
Stone. They had this fucking talk that they have. I feel like this talk comes up with Mythic Raiders all the time, where they're talking about raid buffs. Which raid buffs are better than others? Sometimes you don't get to bring the buffs. Bring the player, not the buffs. I really do not care about the buff argument.
So when I was saying that there was a certain part where I zoned out and was like, I don't care about this anymore, that was the part, because like I don't give a shit about this. Why do they always give like Mythic Raiders these interviews? Like, I don't think that that's something that really matters to most people.
So when we're talking about raid buffs, I assume it's aside from the big 3, the heavy hitters. We are discussing like, well, should I bring a hunter in for increased versatility?
The examples
Because I would imagine most raiders are bringing in your int, stamina, and attack power.
Yeah, pretty much. So like that's kind of what they're saying. They're like, some raid ups are better, some are worse. Some may feel like they lock you into certain comps. Very high end players value arcane intellect a lot more than battle shout, because you get not only damage but more healing. Most melee classes do a lot of magic damage as well as physical, so Chaos Brand is more ubiquitous than Mythic Touch. What is Mythic Touch? Isn't it Mystic Touch? That's a typo, I'm pretty sure. Chaos Brand is Demon Hunters. It's interesting. So in my downtime, while I'm waiting for Within, I have been playing a little bit of Final Fantasy just to say that I'm doing it with my friends, and then I'm better than them they are at the game. I know I'm gonna mollywomp a raid if I get in there.
Part of the reason, which is so fucked up and weird, but one of the reasons I wanted to get into Final Fantasy is to prove to like people like your online friends that like I could be good at it, because I feel like I would be very good at it.
I don't think anyone's doubting you'd be good at it.
Like, even when I would hear from Cubby friend, like they're talking about like, yeah, like, well, it's terrible and funny, but they were like, yeah, it's a little tougher to play because like no one's good enough to beat the raid right now. And I was like, ha, you guys aren't even good enough to beat the raid, even though that's our issue 99% of the time.
Yeah.
But just there, I was really feeling my oats.
I really want to see what a raid is like over there, and because they don't have like dungeons that are done at like repeatable levels, so all of the PvE's got to be in the raids unless I'm missing something. I just want to see it, so I'm very slowly.
I'm
getting
sorry,
up there.
this is a WoW show, but you can only do their dungeons once, or just they don't have them.
No, like they have them, but like there's not like a Mythic Plus system, right? So like imagine WoW, like you're not going to be doing heroic dungeons if there's not a Mythic, track.
Yeah, I don't think that they have anything that makes it worth repeating the way that our dungeons do, if that makes sense.
I see.
Anyway, but then they also kind of talk about like other than buffs, there's things like Death Knight grips or Warlock gateways, which not class buffs, but. This whatever, like bring what you want, play what you want. If you get benched, then sorry, I guess you're in the wrong fucking guild, sucker. Okay, they did post a video podcast sit down. The Wowcast had another thing, which is related to this next bullet point. The Severed Strands buff. So I watched the video. It was a lot of rehashing what warbands wore and a lot of things we already knew. But it did go into a little more info about the Severed Strands buff, which is a buff we're going to be obtaining each week, I believe it is. We're going to be getting 3% stronger in both damage and healing. And that is to offset certain things, I guess. Maybe like, it's almost like it feels like LFR when you wipe on a boss.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was actually what I was trying to. I remember what it's called. What the fuck is that called? It's like stacks of determination. Is that what it's called? When you like wipe so many times in LFR, that's basically what this gives me, because like this is basically just to help people progress who have just been like stuck at a spot, basically, right?
Yeah, so it's gonna be only in the raid. It's gonna be activated. I guess I've seen people say that like they did this in ICC in Wrath of the Lich King, and it worked. And you have to do a weekly quest to get the buff. You don't just get the buff. So I don't know. I mean, I'm cool with it. Whatever makes it easier for our guild to clear, I'll fucking take it.
I was gonna say they might as well just call this the Uno Mas buff. I feel like this is particularly for guilds like ours. I feel like this is something where it's like, we'll all do a weekly quest and get a 3% damage and healing buff. That's perfect for our raid prog.
Yes, and two side notes. One, apparently this thing used to be called Rebel Yell, which I hate to say I feel like is a cooler name than Severed Strands, personally. And also, yes, the repeatable quest is to turn in an amount of Nerubar finery, which is exclusively found on the bodies of bosses. So I guess that's to incentivize, like, if you're good at killing bosses, you'll get more of these and make it easier to do other stuff. But it's like, if you're stuck at the first boss, it's going to take you a little bit because you can only get Nerubar finery off of the first guy.
I was gonna ask if it was only raid bosses, but like the fact that it's called Nerubar, it basically implies to me that yes, it's raid bosses.
Which is also terrible because I believe we're storming their city and then we're stealing their pants. Oh, we can split. These guys have 4 legs. You can split this in half. It counts as 2. It counts as 2 pants.
You only gotta kill 4 of them to get the whole raid to pair their pants.
Look at this fancy candlestick I got.
We're just looting. No, it's okay. They're stinky spiders. I don't feel bad.
Wait, hold up. To me, they're crabs.
What do you mean they're spiders? I thought we were... I couldn't think of a crab pun right off the bat there, so the guy just sat down.
He went AFK. Sorry, the kids, they're yelling, they're screaming.
The rebel yelling in the background.
And we brought him back around. So yeah, whatever, that's fine. Blizzard is not planning on having a heroic raid week in season 2. So what that means is they're not going to push it off like in the first week, because they're basically like, yeah, when the expansion launches, obviously you're going to have things to be doing and catching up for and questing, giving you a grace period. But when season 2 drops, no grace period, bitch. Get in there.
So is this implying that the second season raid will be tuned harder than normal?
I don't know if it'll be tuned harder than normal. It'll just, you have the ability to do heroic on week 1, which proxy will be harder, but just do normal first, right? Like,
no, that's what I'm saying. I feel like in the past they time gated it because they felt like people would just go right into it and it was easier because of the power creep that we had.
Yeah, I was nodding, which you cannot hear on the podcast.
Thank you. Not only can the listeners not, I can't either. So it was just a nice, pleasant, empty space.
Because we're a real podcast.
Speaking of empty space, you said we could never do it. You said we're too scared. That's right. It's the super speedy, shitty August trading post. The theme is red versus blue. There is a lot. So much so, it's already a boring month, and it'd be even more boring to cover it all. Boys, is there literally anything that gave you a thrill this month?
I legitimately scanned through it all, and I'm like, I guess my wallet needed a month to save, so I guess I'm taking a month to save. I legitimately don't think that there was anything I cared to buy.
I bought something, and I do not remember what it was, which just tells you what kind of month this is for the trading post for us. I think I bought one of those Shocky hammers, the red Shocky hammer, to match my red Shocky set I got.
Yeah, they have a lot of good Kazalgar type hammers. Yeah, I don't know. Big miss, I'm going to say on this one. I think I got some capes. Like, they finally had the red and just the blue capes, the shoulder capes, so I got those. But a lot of boots all around. End of the month, you get a big Target back piece.
So weird.
that people were not feeling. It's free, so I guess I can't be upset with it, but yeah. Save your money, everyone. If you finish everything, that means you get what, 1,500, 2,000 you just get to hold on to?
Yeah, I mean, statistically, every month can't be a winner. So as long as we don't have too many stinkers, I'm fine with saving some tendies. I bought the yellow bikini set. I remember now that I had frozen from the summer, whatever that
So
was.
your purchase was not even of this theme. You just cleared out your
Yeah.
coffers.
I was thinking about buying a mount that I had frozen from the past, one of the past months, but I think I had frozen like whatever that angler fish mount was. I froze that was that a few months ago now?
Yeah.
I'm mad I didn't freeze that one because I think it would go great with my potential main for War Within. I think I'm really close to locking in the Shadow Priest. I think Squirm's gonna get some time to shine.
I did play a little bit on Sergei Yamanos because I was mindlessly getting people to 70 the other day. And I was like, I don't understand Shadow Priest, but this is a lot of fun. I was shooting little floating ladies out of me left and right. I was like, I get why people fuck with this one.
Dude, you can get so many of them flying out.
Yeah, it's been great. During like the alt raids you've been doing, I've been using my Squirmy to get some gears and whatnot. And there's a lot of little squirmies floating.
I don't want to hear. I don't care
I'm
if
sorry.
Immune's over here. I don't want to hear what your little squirmy's doing in the day.
I was gonna say, I want to make him sign some kind of legal binding document that if he decides to make Squirm his main, he cannot refer to these things as his little squirmies.
I'm not signing that because my little Squirmy is doing great work out here. He's exploding ghosts out of him.
I also think this potential legal transaction probably only convinces him more so that he needs to play Squirm, so we'll see what happens.
Watch your mouth or get Gary Busey in here, and you know how that's gonna go.
Well, then legally I have to leave the podcast, and we've established this, so...
Speaking of establishing things, it's time for our top toot, bottom boot, medium mood. I have got myself one of these fine medium moods.
Ooh,
nice and medium.
I'm pretty sure I've used this before, but now as it gets even closer, it's becoming even more of a true statement. I've been looking through the toy lists of all the TCG collectible toys, and there's only like 5 left that haven't been used.
Do you think that the Dark Portal Hearthstone toy will be the last one that they add to some random Twitch or Amazon Prime drop?
Good and well. Yes, the answer is yes, because I think they have an Abby Lee Miller style pyramid where they're like, okay, what's top of the pyramid? Oh my god, the Dark Portal Hearthstone, obviously. And they filled in the rest, and we're gonna get all the rest first, and that'll be the last one.
So you're saying that the Dark Portal Hearthstone is the Maddie of this list of toys, once again for like the 8th week in a row, top of the pyramid?
It has to be, because ready for this? Imp in a Ball, Goblin Gumbo Kettle.
Come on.
The Goblin did what?
on.
Where?
Squirm is gobbling down his goblin combo.
The Paper Flying Machine Kit. Didn't know that was TCG. Disco. The Foam Sword Rack. Ethereal Portal. The Goblin Weather Machine. A lot of these we've seen so many of these already, or they've already been used. Like the fishing chair has already been noted as like a regular item now. The Flag of Ownership is the PvP flag. That one might never be used because that one still appears on the black market auction house, and it sells for like a lot of gold as somebody who bought it for 500, 600K that one day by accident. So I don't know, it's coming. But part of me is like, I will finally get to experience other Hearthstones. I've accumulated so many Hearthstones that I've never actually used. I used the Ethereal Portal for the first time on my Shadow Priest because it just kind of makes sense. The Shadowy Void is kind of cool. Maybe it'll be good. I could use my Maw Hearthstone. Aaron, did you forget that one? Or did you not go to that raid that day?
I didn't go to that raid that day. I missed out and missed out on my Maw Hearthstone. That said, I'm not really using Hearthstones very often, but I wish I had an extra one.
Yeah, toy's a toy. No matter how Squirmy. Immune, top two, bottom boot, medium moot.
I also have a medium mood, I suppose.
Medium.
It is that I have finally convinced myself in the last 4 days of mop mix to go back in there and clean up these achievements that I needed to finish up for the last cosmetics I have. The end of zone ones that give you toys or T-Mog or whatever. So I think I have 2 more zones to finish up, and then I'm done. Surprisingly, it's been giving a good amount of bronze too, so I've been able to buy a few more mounts too. It's just that I feel as time's going on, my desire to do Pandaria remix is pretty low. It's super low.
We just did it. We did it so hard, so long. Hey, Squirm, what's going on? And yeah, we all got burnt out. I'm surprised you didn't have all these things. All of the mounts and stuff, because I feel like you were in the trenches far more than I.
Only at the beginning, and then I was just I guess what I was doing was not actually getting me enough bronze to buy it. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So I am just polishing off a few more zones then, and it's I'm done. I can definitely do it in the next day or so. So that is what it is, and I mean, yeah, it's not a toot or a boot, so I'm I guess it's a moot. I'm not necessarily enjoying hunting these rares and random zones, and I'm not necessarily hating getting the chicken backpack, so moot. Yeah, sure. Aaron, what do you got this week?
I just gotta say, I have an absolute top toot. And it's that, I mean, haters will hate all they want. I'm just glad I got to use my somewhat approximate knowledge of a whisper of warning. Every week I was like, when are we going to talk about this thing? And it had been, I just checked, May 6th was when it came out. So it had been over 2 months. And I was like, I guess we're never going to return
Did you ever bring it up the first time? Or were you just sitting on the seat of knowledge, not telling anybody that you read it and then it came out?
I think it came out at the same time as another story, and then we talked about that one, and then they just kept releasing subsequent stories, and so it was a month and a half down the road, and I didn't want to be and who wants to talk about Lily?
That's your job.
But I'm just happy that I got to do it, and I actually read that one. That was one of the only ones that I actually sat my ass down and read, so good job, me.
Pats on the back.
Speaking of pats on the back, I want to give a big old pat to our patrons. I'm talking about Ahoy Events, NSYNC / Drag Race, Ezra, and Digital Dave, asking Growlina to say, for the Horde. Cat the Shamateur Shaman. Mitch wants to remind everyone that Rathion isn't daddy, he's a literal child. Crucifix Alternator. Saracen Hawk, Chris M, Kick Puncher, new patron.
Ooh. Squirmy approves.
Dr. Foster, Grumpy Old Shaman. Jerome Adorno. Losing the Patient, Gershi Super Squirt Day. Another new patron.
New patron.
They never got back to me with an approximate name, and I do not want to dox them if it's the wrong guy, so I'll say a man who loves a good mustache and a mullet.
Yeah, Grimace. Oh, Uncle Grimacy.
Old Uncle Grimacy. Calcus, a dagger and Stan. Cilantro. Wooly, Slidewhistle, Secret Stalker. Tee-hee-hee. Adaman, Vanderlyle, and Will, a.k.a. Tire. Trade Chat's fallen father.
You wish to join this illustrious crew of them, theys, girls, gays, he's, her, shim, she's.
Oh, we've got some shims in here? I didn't know that.
You got some shemps, too. Do so at patreon.com/do not relent. We have a lot of episodes where we talk about a lot of random things. Hear about Aaron being on an MTV show. Hear about that time Immune absolutely dookied his pants.
We have stories. We have stories from last week that we're going to talk about later today.
Disclaimer, if you want Immune dooking his pants, I don't think it's ever happened, so that's not going to be a ooh.
I mean, it has happened, but I don't think that I've told it on the After Dark show.
Well, who knows? Maybe today will be that day. Other links you can find at donotrelent.com, including that one. What about you guys? Where are you at?
Well, you see, you can find me, Alex, or Immunization on Twitter at NewEraAlex or on Blue Sky at Immunization.
You can find me, Aaron the Human, at thebigacheesy on twitters.com. And you can watch me play Vigigrams, including The War Within, later at twitch.tv/AaronDNR.
Any closing thoughts?
The fuck? We never do that. I don't have thoughts.
Okay, no, none for Immune. Aaron?
Closing thought, daughter or gay son?
Gay son.
Gay son.
Jason!
Hit it, Lyndon.
Another down.
Gay son, Derulo.
Hit it, Lyndon.
Another down. Do not relent.
Do Not Relent is a podcast within the 3HNC network, representing U.S. Proudmoore's premier podcasts.
That was a very good wish.
Hit it, Lyndon.